What if one river could give birth to one of the greatest civilizations in human history? A river so powerful that without it, an entire nation would be desert. A river that still feeds, powers, and sustains millions of people today. This is the story of the Nile River, the longest river on Earth, stretching more than 6,650 kilometers, flowing through 11 African countries and shaping the destiny of ancient Egypt and modern Africa. Even today, over 95% of Egyptians live within a few miles of the Nile. But how did this river become so important? Why has it been called the lifeline of Egypt for over 5,000 years? Let's begin our journey at the source. The Nile River flows from south to north, a rare and remarkable feature among the world's great rivers. Its journey begins deep in East Africa, from rivers that feed Lake Victoria, located in modern-day Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. From there, the Nile travels thousands of kilometers northward, cutting through deserts, savannas, wetlands, and ancient kingdoms before emptying into the Mediterranean Sea in Egypt. The Nile has three major tributaries: the White Nile, which provides the river's steady flow; the Blue Nile, originating in Ethiopia and supplying most of the water and silt; the Atbara River, a seasonal tributary also from Ethiopia. Together, these rivers form the Nile Basin, a massive water system connecting 11 African nations: Burundi, DR Congo, Egypt, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Kenya, Rwanda, South Sudan, Sudan, Tanzania, and Uganda. This shared river connects millions of people and sometimes divides them. Without the Nile, ancient Egypt would not exist. Egypt is surrounded by harsh desert, but along the Nile's banks, life flourished. Every year, the river flooded its banks, depositing nutrient-rich silt onto the land. This natural fertilizer turned barren ground into some of the most productive farmland in the ancient world. From space, the contrast is striking. A thin green ribbon of life cutting through endless brown desert. This fertile zone allowed ancient Egyptians to grow crops such as wheat, barley, flax, beans, cotton. These crops fed millions and created food surpluses that supported cities, temples, armies, and trade. The Nile Delta, stretching from Cairo to the Mediterranean Sea, became the agricultural heart of Egypt. These crops fed millions and created food surpluses that supported cities, temples, armies, and trade. The Nile Delta, stretching from Cairo to the Mediterranean Sea, became the agricultural heart of Egypt. For ancient Egyptians, the Nile was not just a river, it was life itself. They drank from it, bathed in it, fished in it, traveled on it. The Nile served as Egypt's main highway, carrying stone for pyramids, grain for markets, and people between cities. Papyrus plants grew along its banks, and from papyrus, Egyptians made paper, rope, clothing, baskets, and boxes. Papyrus scrolls became the foundation of record-keeping, religion, science, and administration. Even Egyptian religion was shaped by the river. The annual flooding was seen as a gift from the gods, especially the god Hapi, the deity of the Nile. To the ancient Egyptians, the Nile was sacred. Ancient Egyptians didn't just rely on nature, they mastered it. They developed irrigation systems, canals, and basins to control floodwaters and expand farmland. These systems allowed Egypt to feed a growing population, store grain for drought years, trade surplus food with other civilizations. This stability helped Egypt become one of the most powerful civilizations of the ancient world, lasting over 3,000 years. Even today, much of Egypt's agriculture still depends on irrigation canals fed by the Nile. Fast forward to today. The Nile remains Egypt's lifeline. 95% of Egyptians live near it. 90% of Egypt's water comes from it. Millions depend on it for drinking water, farming, fishing, and electricity. In cities like Cairo, traffic is so congested that residents now use water taxis, ferries, private speedboats. Just as they did thousands of years ago, Egyptians still move along the Nile. In the 20th century, Egypt built one of the most ambitious engineering projects in Africa, the Aswan High Dam. The dam provided flood control, year-round irrigation, hydroelectric power, but it also created serious problems. The nutrient-rich silt that once flowed north now gets trapped behind the dam. As a result, soil fertility has declined. The Nile Delta is shrinking. Coastal erosion has increased. Natural floods no longer flush pollution from the river. Today, pollution from cities, factories, and farms threatens water quality and public health. The Nile River Basin supports extraordinary biodiversity. It is home to hippopotamuses, Nile crocodiles, monitor lizards, hundreds of bird species. The Nile Delta is a critical stopover for millions of migrating birds along the East African Flyway. The river also supports rich fisheries, including Nile perch, weighing up to 175 pounds, tigerfish, catfish. Fishing remains a way of life for millions, but pollution now threatens both wildlife and livelihoods. The Nile flows through 11 countries, and every nation depends on it. But water is limited, and demand is rising. Egypt is especially vulnerable. With a growing population, experts warn that Egypt's water demand may soon exceed its supply. To address this, the Nile Basin Initiative, NBI, was formed in 1999, bringing all basin countries together to promote cooperation. Several nations signed the Cooperative Framework Agreement, encouraging shared and sustainable water use. Still, tensions remain. One of the biggest challenges today is Ethiopia's Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, built on the Blue Nile. The Blue Nile supplies most of the Nile's water. For Ethiopia, the dam is transformative, provides electricity to millions, fuels economic development, reduces poverty. But for Egypt and Sudan downstream, it raises fears of reduced water flow. In 2015, Egypt, Ethiopia, and Sudan signed an agreement to cooperate. The dam began producing electricity in 2022 and is now Africa's largest dam. The future of the Nile depends on cooperation, not conflict. For over 5,000 years, the Nile River has shaped civilizations, fed nations, and sustained life. It built ancient Egypt. It powers modern Africa, and its future will define the region for generations to come. The Nile is more than water. It is history, culture, survival, and hope. The question now is simple. Can the nations of the Nile learn to share the river that has shared so much with them?